The title of our lesson is The Three Little Pigs and the Somewhat Bad Wolf. This lesson was created based on Tennessee third grade standards and seeks to combine ELA with STEM. Thus, the focus of our lesson is to analyze literary elements from the classic Three Little Pigs, specifically related to point of view, while also implementing mathematical concepts by researching and designing students' houses of their own, based on those found within the story. Some standards and objectives related to this lesson are identifying a character's point of view from the text, comparing and contrasting key points from two similar texts, and fluently adding and subtracting within 1,000. Some other teacher-created objectives for this lesson are to conduct research and design a house from the Three Little Pigs, research various materials and building designs, and finally, collaborating in a group to solve real-world problems.
For formative assessment, the teacher will be observing students, monitoring, and providing feedback throughout the entire lesson to provide assistance whenever necessary. There will be multiple checks for understanding, thumbs up, thumbs down to let me know if you get it, writing on a post-it note and putting it on a chart for a Venn diagram to show just a quick picture if the students are understanding the topic, and the teacher will hold workshops with each group to give the students a chance to talk with the teacher and get some ideas that maybe they're not getting from their peers, and then I can work through any problems they may be having.
We would start off the lesson by having it's like an interview of like a news broadcast of what was taking place with the Three Little Pigs. And that's just like a fun way to kind of get the students thinking about, what's really going on? What's taking place there? So to kind of like intrigue them and draw them into what's going to be happening within the passage. Also during the hook, we would talk about some of the academic vocabulary words that would need to be discussed that would be provided in that lesson. After we introduce the story and students are able to make predictions on what they think the story might actually be about, because it is a little bit different, we would introduce 5 vocabulary words, and we would give the students an opportunity to stop and see if they could work collaboratively with their group and come up with sentences for those words. And that just provides the teacher with a little bit of background knowledge about what do they already know about that topic. Then we would move into the point of view portion of the lesson. During the point of view portion, we would ask the students would get to go do their shopping for their building later, but they would also have the opportunity to think what would the wolf have done differently? Based upon how he felt, what would he have done differently? Then we move into building the house. They would spend about 30 minutes to build their house with their materials, and they would be using the scientific method the whole time they're going throughout that process. So developing, how do you think your house is going to stand? What's your hypothesis? Those sorts of questions. And then at the end, the groups would get to present their houses to the class. Did it work for you? What did you wish that you had material-wise in order to build that? And those types of things. All the while throughout this whole process, the teacher is providing constructive, higher order thinking questions to kind of guide the instruction for the students.
To wrap up the STEM unit on the Three Little Pigs, students will recreate a movie. They will use images of their houses that they rebuilt to be able to withstand the wolf, and they will create their own version of the Three Little Pigs. Students will be encouraged to use sequence words, details to describe actions, feelings, and thoughts. Students will also be scored from a rubric. The teacher will be looking for creativity, multiple levels of thinking, design, and group collaboration. If time allows, students could be able to watch everyone's group movies at the end of the day in an afternoon. To take it a step further, students could reach down to the lower grade levels who read the Three Little Pigs, and they could share their movie of the Three Little Pigs and do a little compare and contrast.